Gentlemen, this is Mantelligence. Today we're showing you 14 expert tips to texting a girl you like. It can be hard enough knowing what a woman wants when you're with her, much less with a few simple characters on your cell phone screen. And that's why it's so helpful to have a list of tips from a woman telling you exactly what to do. So, here's how to text a girl you like. Guys, the first texts you send a girl are extremely important because it's these texts that help her determine if she wants to be more than just friends with you. So be sure to follow each of these 3 powerful tips closely. Number 1, text her within 24 hours of meeting her. You've heard the old school rule, guys should wait 2 to 3 days before contacting a woman. But times have changed, and today that rule is absolutely ridiculous. And that's mostly because it's become so much easier to get in contact with someone. And since it is so easy to pick up your phone and send her a few words, she thinks, if he's interested in me, why wouldn't he get in touch with me more quickly? So send a text within 24 hours. Otherwise, she'll think you're not interested. Number 2, use her name. Immediately jumping into calling a girl a nickname can be a bit off-putting. Instead, it's better to start things off somewhere comfortably between formal and casual. So in your first texts, simply calling her by her name is the safest way to go. Number 3, remind her of something that happened when you met. In your first few texts, you don't want to send her something boring and unoriginal like, "Hey, it's Ryan," or "Hey, how are you?" Instead, send her something interesting by reminding her of the night you met, like, "Last night was so fun. You're a maniac on the dance floor." Number 4, use proper grammar. Do you still text like you did when you were back in high school? You know what I'm talking about. Using the number 2 instead of TO, or using the letter Y instead of WHY. Texting with improper grammar is a big turnoff to a girl because it shows you're too lazy to do even a simple task like writing out a full word. It takes less than a second to spell out the word, but it makes all the difference. Equally as important are those texts you send right before you ask her out, because otherwise she'll get bored before you even get the chance. So, how do you do that? Pay close attention to these must-know things. Number 1, text her the same way she texts you. For an easy way to figure out how to text this girl, look at how she's texting you. How many emojis does she use? How long are her texts? How often is she texting you? Mirroring how she's comfortable texting you is a great and safe way to text her. Number 2, text with a purpose. Think about it. The whole purpose of texting a girl is to eventually go out on a date with her, right? So don't send random pointless texts, because if this conversation isn't going anywhere, either she'll lose interest or she'll think you have. Instead, send texts that compliment her, entertain her, and keep the conversation going. Number 3, make her wait to hear from you. Because women want a man with better things to do than sit around waiting for her next text, you shouldn't always immediately text her back. Now, this doesn't mean you should be rude, but give it some time before texting her back. Number 4, send her exciting pictures of what you're doing. All right, guys, listen up. A woman wants her man to have a life outside of their relationship, and the reason why is simple. It shows that he's someone interesting to be around. So show her your interests and send her pictures of you doing your manly hobbies. Number 5, remember things she tells you about herself. One of the most important things to a woman is to know that her man is listening to her. It's a simple thing, but it makes her feel appreciated and loved. Let her know that you hear her, either by bringing up something that she's mentioned in the past, or by asking questions about something she has said in order to have a deeper conversation. So, you've asked her out and she said yes? Congratulations. But guys, this is where a woman can get hugely turned off by a guy's text. Why? Because this is where a lot of guys get careless in the texts they send. But it's easy to avoid that by following these tips. Number 1, don't rely only on teasing her to keep her attention. Guys, here's the thing. Girls will eventually think men are cowards if they're always hiding their feelings behind teasing. And at some point, she'll want you to man up and tell her things like, "You're pretty," "You're so smart," or "I like being around you." Number 2, show her your good traits instead of telling them to her. Do you like listening to people brag about themselves? Of course you don't, and neither do women. So instead of bragging and telling her these things, show her by sending texts like, "I finished my book last week and can't find a new one. Any suggestions?" Number 3, joke with her, but not inappropriately. While it's important to show her you have a sense of humor, telling inappropriate jokes will make you look like an immature, crude man. What are inappropriate jokes? Avoid anything that's racist, sexual, insulting, or overly mean. Number 4, don't constantly text back and forth when you can just call. As you two get closer, you'll end up spending less time texting and more time talking on the phone or physically together in person. And at a certain point, a girl will get confused why you're constantly texting her instead of just calling. So when it's time, instead of sending, "What's up? I'm just chilling at home," be a man, pick up the phone and call her. Number 5, don't suddenly stop texting her. We've all done it before. You're walking into the gym, a meeting, or a bar to meet a buddy, and you suddenly stop sending text messages. Normally, this is fine, but if you've been quickly texting back and forth, the sudden silence is confusing, especially in the beginning of a relationship. So instead, be polite and let her know what's going on. For example, "Just got to the gym, I'll text you later." And that's exactly how to text a girl you like. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to let us know and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to click and subscribe. And while you're here, why not check out these other great videos? Thanks for watching!